This podcast is not affiliated or endorsed by anyone at Zaum Studio or anyone involved in the creation of Disco Elysium. Three Detectives in a Trench Coat contains spoilers for Disco Elysium: The Final Cut. If you have not played the game, proceed with caution.
Disco Elysium is a game about sex, drugs, and disco, and politics, and violence and drugs, and sometimes those drugs are used by children, and sometimes the violence is aimed at children, and generally is a game for 18s or over. Proceed with caution, as we will be discussing themes within the game.
This episode was recorded on the 26th of September 2023. We present One Day I Will Return to Your Side.
What is 20 weeks in dog years? Well, not dog years, but like...
For all of our canine listeners, all of our good boys.
It's like 5 months. 5 months. So like 5 months ago, we did that weird episode with the police cars outside, and now it's happening again.
Sorry, just the title of that weird episode with the police outside. That's... Are you recording, James?
I am recording, and I'm now thinking about the concept of an audio drama where the of an audio drama called something along the lines of the police are outside. Where is it a timing based podcast where you have to do something before the police arrive? It could be any entity that arrive, but I'm not just thinking about time constrained podcasts.
Well, that's basically someone dies in this elevator, right? Where it's like,
yes, I love how that varies. That is very nice.
You see, you've got me thinking about it now. Like that could be the idea of a show called The Police Are Outside. That's great.
Can we? Oh, I'm going to get really close to the mic for this. Can we please finish this podcast before we start making the next one?
I mean, maybe that's going to be the next iteration of Three Detectives.
I just wanted to make sure my point was made.
Okay, no, it's good. It's my head is still fizzing.
Listen, it's gonna get done, and you're going to.
We're doing it today.
Yes,
it's happening
I know,
now.
James.
It's happening right now. We are finishing the podcast. It's the final episode.
It's the final episode.
I fucking knew at least one of you fuckers would do that. Like,
Both of us. Three detectives in a trench coat. Three detectives in a trench coat.
I don't know where that came from. There was just something, I feel British, maybe just European, about just hearing someone say it's the final X, and just, oh, I know what social normal thing it is to do now.
Well, it should be European because the band was called Europe.
Exactly, but I mean, like, kind of, but I don't know, it came out of me like saying bless you after someone sneezes. I failed a volition check.
I'm a little on edge today because it is the last episode of Three Detectives in a Trench Coat for now.
For now,
until
we figure out what we're going to do after this.
So I'm like, is everyone's on their mic? Everyone's doing the thing?
Are you worried about something going wrong? Is that the issue?
I'm worried about something going wrong.
Well, listeners, if you've been watching our polls, you'll know that next week
You'll
we
know
will be doing...
What? Stop
the
it.
most likely element to cause chaos is
please.
James.
I don't really... No one's ever really called me a chaos demon before. I never really felt like I had that energy, but sure.
you do tend to wander off.
Oh!
It's not chaos, it's meandering.
Hi, ADHD. Oh, sure. Undiagnosed. Somebody else, other people telling me, but
Here is some real life story time for the listeners. So, about a month ago, I was doing I was debuting a new live show in Glasgow, and I was delighted to have my two detective colleagues come up to Glasgow to see the show, which was great. So, there was the venue where I was performing, the old hairdressers, and then across from the old hairdressers, across the street, was this restaurant called Stereo. So I go up, I say hello to the people inside the venue, and then I kind of said, right, well, let me just check. I'm waiting for someone to arrive, waiting for some people to arrive. So I'll go make sure they're here, and then I'll come back and do sound check. And they're like, yeah, that's absolutely fine. So I go down. James is just coming outside of Stereo, so say hello, and then I'm like, right, I'm just gonna go quickly do my sound check, and then I'll be right out. And James is like, yep, okay, great, fantastic. I'll see you in a bit then. So I do the sound check. It goes very, very well. And then I'm talking to Phil Corbett, who runs this fantastic podcast called The Wind. Where they say, what are you up to now? And I'm like, well, I'm going to go grab some food. And they go, well, can I join you? And I'm like, yeah, of course, absolutely. I've got a friend waiting over in Stereo, so hopefully there'll be a table. So we go across into Stereo from the old hairdressers. I'm looking around and I can't see James anywhere. And like, it's quite a small restaurant. Like there's a club downstairs, but they don't do food there. It's just the upstairs kind of space. So I'm walking around and I'm like, why the hell's James? So Phil's like, everything okay? And I'm like, yeah, it's just my friend has disappeared. And so at this point, because I'm socially anxious, genuinely my thought was, oh no, this person's gonna think I don't have any friends. Which is such a 5-year-old thing to think. And then one of the waiters comes over and they're like, everything okay? You looking to eat? And I'm like, well, I mean, yes, we are, but also I had a friend who was here earlier. just very aware. Like, how do you explain the situation? And then I go outside and I'm like, right, give me a second. I check my phone and then I've got a message from James, which is like, I'm going for a wander. And I'm just... And then the message comes through, do you want anything from Pret? And I'm like, what is it about people who live in London that wherever they go anywhere, they just gravitate towards the nearest Pret-a-Manger? It's just, it was very funny. I mean, it all worked out okay, but yeah, it was just a very...
I'm going to slip in and just tell the story from my perspective of the three of us are meeting... the three of us are meeting in central Glasgow. Great. I leave on time to get the bus, on time to get there. And as I get there, I get a text from Ollie saying something along the lines of, oh, I'm not going to turn up for an extra half an hour or so because I need a break or something like that. I was like, great, okay. Dev will be there. And I meet Dev and say, oh yeah, I'm here, except I'm going to go and do a sound check. I'll be right back. And then 5 minutes pass. I'm like, okay.
5 minutes.
5 minutes pass. So in which time I record a video message for a friend because Stereo happened to be a place that we ate a few years earlier. And then in the meantime, I'm like, okay, it's been a few minutes. I don't know how long this is going to take. I'll text Dev and I'll go and find myself a cup of coffee somewhere. And so go. And then I get to the friend, I'm like, Dev, do you want a coffee? And then I find out that no, it's just, you don't. Do you want me to come back? Okay.
Do I want you to come back?
I'd been waiting a few minutes and I didn't, but I don't get to go to Glasgow so frequently. It is a nice kind of wanderable city for me because it's relatively unknown. So I just wandered up to. I looked for the Pret. Incidentally, I have an answer to the question about Pret. I have a Pret subscription, which I like. Not that this is a sponsored podcast or thing, but
not sponsored.
If there's an opportunity to go to get a Pret, I'm like, oh, I already pay for this coffee. I might as well go and get one.
Yeah, okay, that part of the story makes sense, but yeah, it was just
also,
very. So yeah, I think
walk away with two roads up.
The beautiful city of Glasgow. Where's the nearest French cafe?
It's definitely not French.
You're listening to Three Detectives in a Trench Coat, where we play Disco Elysium, by the way.
Yes,
just
hello,
as a heads up,
welcome, right. So the charitable reading of this is that we enjoy each other's company. We've enjoyed making this podcast so much. We're delaying starting the final episode.
Yes, that is.
But I know that's
generous.
not true.
So, well, I mean, okay, but fine. What do we? So this is an interesting moment, though, in terms of this podcast lore, and in terms of how we've been playing this game, because pretty much every beginning of an episode, we've said, what are our goals for this playthrough? What do we learn from the last playthrough? That sort of thing. What are we hoping to discover about ourselves as Harriet Dubois? And we're as far as we're willing to get with that story. There's been a choke point that we are now about to breach. I don't know if I'm mixing metaphors there, but there's this point at which we are now about to cross over into the next part of the story that Ollie knows, and I still don't know. There's so much detail I don't know about the story because it's after this going on underneath the Feld building part Like I've done every other possible quest there is. So it played through my mind the idea of like I'll play through this whole thing again as an angry person or something and see what it feels like differently. But yeah, I'm looking forward to finding out the ending of this mystery. It's like I'm in the last chapter of a book.
Yeah, we all have the same goal today.
Yeah.
Which is finish Disco Elysium.
Finish the game. Finish Disco Elysium.
No, okay, so we have two goals today. I think Dev and I want to finish the game. Ollie wants to finish the podcast.
I can neither confirm nor deny that this is the case. Yeah, I have a very odd energy going in today because I finished Disco Elysium and I finished it before, and I finished it another time before that, and so for me this is like, right, okay, this is I am here to hope that we stick the landing. One of the things I was going to bring up is, what questions do you want answered in the next 2 hours, 3 hours?
I'd like to know what the pale emitter is, and I'd like to know how that all ties into everything. And I think I kind of, as much as I think I have a theory about how all of the events, all the kind of events around the hanging happened. I don't have I haven't had anything confirmed, so I'm curious to see what part of the story I'm missing. I think that's the thing I'm hoping to get answered.
Cool.
And for me, maybe it's because I've been spending so much time in the early game on the kind of thoughts, but I want to know what's going to happen if there is an ending about Harry's memory lapse and Harry's character. Like, there's so much. We start the game with Harry not having his memory anymore, but is that going to be left as an ongoing symptom of this person's life, or are they going to suddenly? Is something going to happen that's going to suddenly get their memory back, and we'll know that this history of their personal relationships, the history of Harry's relationship with Dolores Day, or a series, a series of other kind of character questions that have been slowly building up over the course of the game, around who Harry has been in the past and what Harry will be in the future. Probably based on how we've been playing it.
Yeah, you'll get that. You guys are gonna get the answers you seek. I want to learn about. I know everything. Yeah, I have a weird emotion. It's like I want to get it done. I'm kind of Crabbit. I'm so like wanting to get it done that I'm just kind of pissed about it.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, it's all right. It's like but I think it's also like, last day of school, or like last day of camp, or last day of summer, or whatever. I never used to get sad about it. I just used to get pissed off. and that's what the feeling is. It's just sort of, I can't bear to mourn it. So instead I'm just annoyed that it's going. And so I think that's how I'm feeling about today's episode, is like, fingers crossed, we're going to stick the landing. We're all going to get it done in time. But also, I'm like, it's over. But I'm not thinking about that yet, because that's for later. Right now, I'm just fed up.
I've seen you with this energy before.
When was the last time you saw me with this energy?
When we were making Nightlife in the last weeks, when we were about to release it. But I wanted to do some marketing before we released it, just 2 weeks of like kind of daily press.
Oh.
And you had this like, no, it's done. I want to move on energy. But I'm like, no, the marketing also needs to be done.
Marketing should have been done a long time ago.
That's fair. We could have done more as we went along.
And not by me. So that's, I get Crabbit around the end of projects, I think. And is Crabbit a word that... Crabbit, I assume Amber understands, but James, do you understand Crabbit?
I'm hearing a portmanteau of Crabby and Rabbit. What is it?
It's not that far off, really.
Yeah, it's sort of like annoyed, but in a sort of crotchety is the
Uppity
word.
way.
Uppity way.
Yeah,
sort of
crotchety,
little Crabby Rabbit. You get it?
I really hope that's what the etymology is.
It's probably not.
I don't know.
But is now the time to look it up on Etium Online?
You have
for all time's
90
sake.
seconds.
Yeah. For all time's sake, let's look it up. One last tangent.
One last
tangent. I can't see Crabbit. Yeah. Okay. So etymology doesn't have it online, but looks like it comes from Scots. From Scotsing. Yes.
Yes.
So, which kind of makes sense, because you did say that.
Oh, that's
it's
it.
a very Scots word.
That's it.
Because you're both kind of Scottish, so yeah, makes sense.
It's just Scots.
Yeah, they didn't bother to ask any Scottish people.
I mean, like, it didn't have any additional information about her history.
Did you just say didn't
It
it?
didn't have any more information, no.
Yeah, I think you threw in a casual
Yes!
didn't it there.
Yes!
Hey, didn't he, haven't he?
Scottish cultural victory!
Oh, dear. Just a slightly stronger Scottish.
Careful, your Revacholian nationalism is showing. Right, we're gonna go close the case.
Yeah, let's solve this murder. There's a better way of phrasing that. Let's
Finish
crack
this
this case
game?
wide open. Let's
crack this case like open. Let's
finish
get
the
this
game.
case closed.
Beat this boss.
Fight the power.
Fight
No.
the power. Fuck the world.
Okay.
Okay. Good luck,
Good
detectives.
luck, detectives. Good luck. Let's go.
1, 2, be free. 1, 2, be free. It will last forever.
Hello, it's Ollie, the biggest and therefore most forlorn of the three detectives. Just to let you know that, yes, we are finishing the game. That doesn't mean that it's over, you know? Well, we got stuff coming down the pipe. We've got our reflections. We have an interview with someone key to the production. And we've also got some side quests coming up before we continue with our second series. So if you want to support us in those endeavours, and if you like what we're doing, then you can go over to Patreon, Three Detectives. Yeah, and you can check out our other stuff in the show notes as well. Like we've all got cool projects going on. So yeah, come join the party. Let's start. Ruby, 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 Ruby! Ah!
Yes. Oh man, storing up points was so useful. It's like, oh no, I'm in danger. I've got to use some sort of points to knock over some machine. I can knock over the machine.
So I let Ruby go.
Yes.
Ruby died.
Ah!
Oh no.
Ruby shot herself.
Oh.
And I did not have the rhetoric in me to go, don't.
Yeah, so the note I kept coming back to in this playthrough is I'm glad I put so many points into rhetoric.
Legit, end of the game, it's like talking is what saves you, not hand-eye coordination.
Well, you say that, but there's a bit that happens later that we'll get to where basically the game tells you, yeah, talking can't solve everything, which I really appreciated.
Though it can solve a lot, but yes.
Yeah, did we all get the accusation that we are in fact working for a drug lord?
Yes.
Yes.
I wrote down, I respect this game for making you a corrupt cop and not the one good cop, but then at the end was told that, no, that's not actually true,
It's also true.
which was disappointing.
Well, I have a theory about that, which is that you're told you're not a corrupt cop by the actual corrupt cop.
Well, I suppose.
You can be, it's like you're like one step removed from the decision making because you're an erratic superstar who thinks the world is about to end.
I did love the sound design for the pale emitter. I thought that was very cool.
Oh, it was very good.
Very, very good.
Yes,
And also
I like the number stations.
Yeah, the
Just
explanation behind it
spitting
was
out.
really cool.
That was one of the few times I actually listened through like a whole recording, even if it was just blow my mind. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Spitting through prime numbers in foreign languages was like,
Yeah.
oh, so good.
A fun thing. So I was walking down to the room and like the game was like be very careful, walk carefully. And then like I realized that up until that point I'd just been holding the boombox the whole time. So I was just like sneaking through this building, torch in one hand, boombox in the other, like going, right, gotta be very quiet while I walk through here. So I took it off after that. And
You're just there with your shutter shades.
yeah, genuinely.
I have come to take you in. No one stops the law, Joe. we then do a mad dash across the village.
In which they turn off the jumps, quick travel, which I was thought.
I had a thing happen after Ruby, but before the stuff in town.
Did you go out of the car?
Nope, my
okay.
necktie started talking to me.
Mm.
And the necktie said, "It's time."
That's fun.
It's time to unleash the other world. So I thought the necktie's going to tell me to drink the spirits, right? That's because the necktie's like, "I just want you to have a really good time, Harry." And I'm like, I swear to God, if I've been sober this whole time and the game's like, "Drink," I'm going to be very annoyed. However, what the necktie tells you to do is put me in the bottle. Put me in the bottle of blue spirit, which I did.
Really?
Yeah, so then the necktie is like, "Put me in." So first of all, the necktie gets very clean. But then, it's floating in the jar. It's floating in this bottle. And you're like, "Necktie?" The necktie doesn't say anything. "Necktie?" The necktie doesn't say anything. The game lets you just repeat this on a loop. And I was just like, have I drowned my necktie?
Sounds like it.
In blue spirit.
But then the game is just like, you should hold on to the thing you've just made. You should keep it in your hand. So I
Keep it in your hand.
went into my inventory, and then it was labeled Spirit Bomb, and I'm like, oh, right, okay then. So I'm just holding this bomb in my hand.
So, the Tribunal, the most harrowing event
Yeah,
of
God.
the game. How'd you do, James?
Quite a few. There were quite a few people died. I don't know if there was any way to avoid it, but
How many?
Six died.
Ooh, I think James
win.
James won.
Really?
Theo. So let me guess. It was the three killers, and then Theo, Fat Angus, and
one of the others. Yeah.
one of the others. Oh, did the lady die? The
lawyer.
What's her name? The lawyer.
No, not in my playthrough.
Elizabeth.
Not that I could see.
Elizabeth. Yeah.
Oh, I was so annoyed by that. So I had a 72% chance to save Elizabeth. Failed.
It didn't even
God.
come up that she was in danger in my playthrough.
Really?
At some point, I just shot. You take the action of shooting the person with the big gun, and you shoot him through the cheek or something.
You see, I didn't have a gun.
Did you not find your gun at some point in this playthrough?
I did not find my gun. I did,
Oh,
however...
I'm looking forward to finding out how the ending works.
You had no gun.
I had no gun.
You went into a gunfight without a gun.
This is very interesting.
But do you know what I did have?
A spirit bomb.
A spirit bomb. So basically the tie is like, right, time to use the spirit bomb, fuckers. And you have the option to throw the spirit bomb at the leader, right? But your rhetoric goes, hang on, wait, try and talk your way out of this. And I tried doing that and it didn't work. So Elizabeth got shot, which is bad. So then I was just like, right, fuck it.
That is bad.
Threw the spirit bomb at the leader, basically burned him to death. And then all hell broke loose, basically.
So mine was very similar to that, which is when Elizabeth got shot, I was like, well, fuck it. And so I just shot the guy twice. Both shots missed. I had above a 50% chance on both of the shots. In fact, I had an 84% chance on my first one.
God.
It's so unfortunate.
And then the bloodbath ensued.
Oh, no.
I had 9 casualties.
And...
Including
Yep.
Lieutenant Officer Kim Kitsuragi.
Oh, no! No!
Kim got shot on my watch.
Oh, no, I managed to save Kim at the last minute, which I was very happy with. I was like, no, God, if Kim dies, I will reload this fucking save. James, what happened with you? What happened with you there?
I did manage to save Kim. That was a good moment.
That was a good moment.
Yeah. Oh no. So yeah. In the process, when you're lying on the floor dying, does that happen every time that you get shot in the knee? You take an arrow to the knee.
In the pelvis, yeah.
Okay.
You take a bullet to the pelvis, which is slightly worse than an arrow to the knee, I would argue.
Fair enough.
It's faster and harder.
Sure. Just I think the very first thing I did after I woke up was check in with Gart and check in with Kuno. I wanted to make sure Kuno was okay. Kuno was fine.
I recruited Kuno to be my.
Kuno wasn't there.
Oh, you split some drugs with Kuno, did you?
I split some drugs with Kuno at some point. I gave him a pack of cigarettes at some point to apologise for not hitting him.
Yeah. You have to do that sort of thing to Yeah, you have to do that sort of thing to recruit him, I think.
And so Kuno was my buddy for the last little bit of the game.
That's sweet.
He was so full of rage and passion. I was like, oh man, this is just my little id talking here.
I didn't have Kuno was nowhere. Kuno was gone. Like Kuno did not appear in that final scene with me at all.
So the adrenaline you get during that final fight, though, it feels so like in a game which is all about words. The fact that there is a actual gunfight.
That's fair, actually.
Yeah, you feel every shot, I think.
I get the sense, James, that you are still kind of reeling.
I just finished the game 30 seconds ago. So, and here's the thing, it's. I think so. I was kind of trying to rush through the end there as well because I knew that you guys were waiting for about half an hour for me. I don't know how you managed to get through all of those like options and all those like all those conversations in the time limit you did. That was crazy.
Well, I know you had at least one more conversation that I didn't have that we'll talk about in a second.
Possibly Dolores Day.
It was Dolores Day.
I didn't have the dream.
Yeah. Yeah, I like to. I want to make sure all the tasks are done.
They've got no time to sleep.
Yeah,
There's
genuinely
cases to solve.
I basically went, sorry, Kim, I'm on the clock today.
But yeah, so what did I say? Yeah, so we had the gunfight, and then you wake up, and then Kim's look after you, and Guards clean. Guards feels so much. Guards is so happy that you saved him and saved his shop and stuff and cleaned the room.
I love the
and
interaction
it's like
with
you can
Guard.
sleep here from now on, and that was so sweet.
For free as well. I'm like, that was such a lovely interaction with Gar. I really loved that. So did you guys set fire to the graffiti outside?
Yes.
Yes, I did as well.
Art Pop needs to set fire to the graffiti.
When you get to the outside of the Whirling in Rags, Kuno goes, hey, look, you're still a cop. I can't be seen with you. I'm going to go to the island and I'll meet you there. And so I had this like little solo moment, just like my partner is dead, maybe. I've been shot in the arm or the leg or whatever. And I'm going outside and I look at this graffiti and I go to like light up a smoke to light it on fire. And I was like, I haven't even got any smokes because I gave those to Kuno. So I go into Fritter, spent €2 Real 80 on a pack of smoke so I could go set fire to this canvas, which I'm just sort of just blithely looking at. It's like, yeah, I'm not even feeling anything about this. Went to the pawn shop, sold every single item of pawnable equipment that I owned. Sold 1/20th of my shares for a 700 Real streetlight.
I was wondering if you could buy the streetlight. I was wondering if that was possible.
It is. You have to sell your share. You have to give him a thing of shares. And in fairness, he's the guy who's like from the People's Pile.
Yes.
And he's like, oh, there's a lot of fucking good debts I can settle with this.
Oh,
there's a lot of like good stuff I can do with a bunch of money.
That's nice.
And I was like, oh fuck, I actually accidentally did good. I didn't expect this to happen in my capitalist playthrough. And then I had a date with Lillian, and then I was like, can I borrow your boat? And she was like, yeah, sure. So it was a wild little sort of meander over to the boat that I had.
Mm.
Everyone had something to say about my broken leg or my shot pelvis.
Mm.
And then we went and did Sad FM.
Yes.
So what is Sad? Is Sad FM just the name of the song?
No.
It's the name of the radio station.
Yes. When you get in the boat,
I didn't learn what the name of the radio station was. I just had this wonderful.
Did you listen to music on the boat though?
Yeah, I had music playing while I was.
Oh, it was called Sad FM.
It was called Sad FM.
Yeah, you have the option of like getting in the boat or getting in the boat and playing music. And yeah, that was cool. Nice little moment.
Okay.
Although it was weird. I looked for Cindy the Skull to talk to her about art, but I couldn't find her. Like there were so many places I wanted to look. I mean, I've been shot. I wonder what Everard thinks of this. I wonder what Joyce thinks of this. That sort of thing. But they're both accessible by the time you get shot. Yeah. That makes sense.
So you get to the island, and when we meet a dude.
Well, no, you don't. You don't meet the dude first. You have to go through a whole sort of bunch of puzzling to do first, right?
Do you guys know what the graffiti says?
Do tell us.
It translates to "One day I will return to your side."
Oh, Dora.
It was just like, because I was just like, I'm really curious as to what this means, so I looked it up. I couldn't find anything that kind of properly explains its meaning that other than like a really long article. So I'm very much just like, okay, I will check up on this later. And I think part of me is very happy that we've finished the game because that means I can watch all the video essays.
Yeah, I'll be by your side. I think it's just a little sentimental, like, thing to say for dead people. You know, I will be by your side again one day.
Maybe.
Yeah, it was nice. I was just like, I like this feels important to figure
And
out.
then you set it on fire.
And then you set it on fire, and it's great. It's a good feeling.
Well, so you have that.
And it's a mix of, like, diesel fuel and blood.
That feels like a callback to Harrier's like idea for concept art when he convinces Cindy to give her the paintbrush.
Well, I think he's a student of Cindy's,
Yes.
isn't he?
He's an aspiring skull.
He's a typographist.
Yes. Did anyone so there was the suggestion of getting oil from the boat, which seemed like a bad idea.
Yeah.
That was a bad idea.
So I'm glad we didn't do that.
You eventually find the oil so there's a little puzzle where you have to, like, do a bunch of things.
Yeah, you have to do a bunch of things to figure out how to open a door. That's true.
And in the process, you find a bunk bed and you see where the shot could have been taken from.
Yeah. Or rather, where the shot came from.
And then we meet the deserter.
Oh, I love this character so much. Oh, like Ollie and I had a very brief discussion right before you came on, James, about it was a very in the weeds discussion about the deserter. Most of it's probably going to get cut.
So James, what were your thoughts on the deserter?
I found it odd. I found it odd that we spent a year, the three of us, which is not really the game developers' fault, a year solving a case which turned out to be a random guy did it.
But so here's the beautiful thing. So did either of you speak to the corpse?
I didn't.
Because I managed to pass an Inland Empire check, which meant that I could talk to the corpse. And you asked the corpse what killed you, and the first thing the corpse says is love that did me in. But then also he says that communism killed him as well. And then you find out that that's actually what happened. Love and communism is what killed him. And
love and communism are what killed him.
Perfect. That's just amazing writing. And yes. It's beautiful figuring that out. I wrote it in big fuck off capital letters. I also love the line about guns where he's just like, it's a gun, it's for killing people. We can dress it up as it's to protect your family or your property or whatever, but it's a gun, it's for killing people. I'm like, I love that. Just mwah.
Yeah. So
great.
James, I get the sense that you were disappointed
I wasn't really disappointed. I actually found it it was an interesting. I thought it was an interesting story. I don't think it was solvable, right? Like you read a murder mystery, and it turns out that the murderer was this guy who just appears in the last chapter. It turns out he was the one who did it.
It depends on whether you approached the story as a whodunit or as a sort of because I think the thing that I love about Disco Elysium is that it comes to you as an amnesia simulator, genius simulator, where you're like, right, this is your case, this is the thing, find out who did the murder. But it's so much more than that.
Of course it is.
It is a sort of geopolitical scope in at a sort of post-revolutionary society. Post-revolutionary, pre-nuclear apocalyptic society. Also known as Estonia. But, like, it's a real kind of deep dive into, like, the characters and the people and the city and the history and everything. And once you kind of absorb all this, like, your big decisions in the game are, like, sorting out the tribunal or sorting out Ruby or sorting out the strike action. Like you said last session that, like, you fixed the strike to the point where you find the guy at the end and it's like, well, who is it? And it's like, it's the culmination of all these. He's the walking embodiment of every bitter emotion that Revachol carries.
I appreciate that. No, so let me clarify. Your question wasn't what did you think of the end. It was what do you think of this individual? And this individual is
so what do you think
is
of
a
this
foil guy? For it's a narrative. Like everyone's a narrative to us, but he's not given he's a nameless character. Actually, he's not nameless, is he? We do we find his name? I don't think we even find out his name. And we find his name to the point, and he doesn't even exist at the end. At the end of the game, like after you finish talking to him, and after you've had an interaction with this amazing Phasmid thing, which we should get into.
There's a Phasmid! Yes!
So cool. He's forgotten everything. He's no longer sentient as a character.
Yeah, he kind of burns all the way out.
Mm.
I hadn't thought of it that way.
The voice acting is amazing. Like the moment when you say, right, we're taking you in, and there's a shift in the way the voice acting is performed, and it's heartbreaking.
When he goes from this like bitter, angry mate to like, oh god, I've got the dementias.
It becomes like a small child. It was a heartbreaking thing to listen to. I think at one point he says, "But you said," and then just becomes catatonic, and it's just it broke my heart.
Yeah,
We talked a little bit about this before you joined, James, but like I'm struggling to figure out whether the deserter is kind of like what happens if you're consumed by ideology, or if it's what happens when you're consumed by history.
Honestly, I get the impression that the desert is what happens if you stay alone for 30 years.
honestly, yeah.
If
I mean, he's a communist without the community.
Yeah, if you have decided through ideology or for other reasons to isolate yourself from the world, but to watch it angrily from the sides as you choose not to take part in as you choose to not really take part in it, but also watch as decisions get made that you dislike. That does happen to you, and if you do that by yourself in isolation, that's going to warp you.
It's like he's so obstinate that it's infuriating, but at the same time, like everything he says just hits you really hard. And then an even better scene happens,
which is the Phasmid.
The fucking Phasmid! Yes! Yes! Oh, the Phasmid is here! There is a Phasmid in this game! I knew it! Yes! Ah! So happy. I can't begin to tell you how happy I was when, like, the game is just like, oh, you see something in the reads, and I'm like, oh, please, yes, let it be so, and then I got to talk to it as well, yes!
Did Kim get a picture?
Kim got a picture, yes!
Yeah.
There was a wonderful moment where I said, basically, I said to Kim, am I having a violent epileptic seizure? And Kim went, no, it doesn't look like that. To which I was like, what does it look like? And Kim was like, you're just staring at it. And then I said, well, I think I'm having a vision about the final fate of mankind. And then Kim just goes, okay, is it somehow related to the case?
There is also the option afterwards of yes, which I don't think, I didn't choose.
It's sort of is the, yeah. I just went, no, I told you what it's about.
Yeah.
Kim in the case.
I really want to go and tell Lena. I really want to go and tell her I found the Phasmid.
No, we don't get the chance. We don't get the chance.
But it's a beautiful moment.
It's a beautiful, like, and also just the way it sort of unfolds itself out of the reeds and then disappears again at the end. It's just
what I don't understand is why discovering the Phasmid gives you a is an excuse to not fire you by your boss at the end of the game. It's like, can't fire him. He discovered a new species. I'm like,
well, there was a line that I got about the Phasmid. Hang on, let's see if I wrote it down somewhere. Kunzelman. I can't remember which one he was. I think he might have been the one outside the Feld building.
Oh yeah, that guy.
The cryptid gives us permission to think that this too shall pass, but we will pass with this, whatever it is. The promise of the cryptid is a promise of the future, for sure, but it is one where our decisions and triumphs and mistakes do not matter. It is a future where human works are ruins. That, for me, I think, was what the Phasmid was about.
Yeah.
The Phasmid talks about, like, how either humanity or Harry specifically are, like, have brought the Pale into existence, and they are the thing that is destroying the world. But, like, the fact that creatures like this Phasmid exists, it shows that there is something else. There is still something that we do not understand, and there is something else at work.
The idea that the Pale is emissions from imagination is just so fucking cool.
So good. Oh,
I don't think I asked for that. Oh well.
The two of you had a scene that I didn't have.
So, James, I'd love to hear your experience with Dolores
Oh,
Day.
I love that the figurines don't do anything. I actually really enjoy this.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that this is all just a way of Harry holding on to something that cannot be held on to. This figure who is half relationship, half goddess. This dreamlike memory of someone who is not part of Harry's life anymore. Hasn't been for years, but who's just messed with who's actually not even messed with a figure who Harry has placed so far on a pedestal that he literally worships her in the game, and has, as a
Yeah.
result, you know, messed with his own perspective of relationships and his life. And the fact that you have this dream scenario in which you can coax, you can suggest, you can talk, you can beg, but this is a dream in which you are speaking to someone who does not want to be with you and has expressed it very clearly. Even if there's like there's roll to kiss, and if you can succeed in that kiss check and you kiss her and she does not kiss you back, she's just there taking it, and it's so uncomfortable that it's one of the
coldest moment in the game.
it's one of the very few times I didn't go, no, I want to try all these options. Like, nope, she's not kissing me back. Stop it now.
Bail hard.
Yeah, but how interesting and how interesting also to use the how the game to use the check like that, to put it behind a check and to fail anyway, even after succeeding, is I think for me really reinforced the futility of the whole relationship, the worship, the dreamlike scenario of Harry's relationship with this ex of his slash and how he has personified her as a literal goddess.
So there's a really interesting thing about this character, which is that if you kind of unravel what it is that they did in the game, in the past even, this woman in Harry's life not only left him, but also aborted the child that she was going to have with him, and also packed her bags and got on an airship to get as far away from him as possible. I think something super dark happened between them. I think one of the reasons that Harry sort of idolizes her in the way that he does is because he can't kind of deal with how evil he has been, I think. And I had a very interesting thing this playthrough. This is my third playthrough, right? One of the things that she threatens Harry at the end of the encounter you have is she's like, oh no, don't worry. I'll be back tomorrow night. And I'll be back the night after that. And for me, this is the third time I've had to play through this scenario. And I, unlike Harry, have the buffer of, this is my third playthrough. I have the buffer of the 4 or 5 dreams that you have before this dream, where it's just sweet oblivion, or just your limbic system and your angry, your ancient reptilian brain just taunting you. He is so determined to get rid of this dream, in some ways, that he drinks himself into amnesia. For me, the third playthrough was torture. It was like I clicked immediately. I didn't even do any of the options. I clicked right on, let me bail from this conversation, and it's like, nah, buddy, you're gonna have to click all the options like you do every night.
No, that's so
like,
funny.
No.
Oh, how painful.
And the only way to get out of any of the situations is to kiss her, which you will always succeed and always fail. And I'm like, this is the third time I've done this, and this is torture. I cannot imagine if this had happened to me every night for the last 6 years. Yes, I would try and drink myself into oblivion. It was the first time I was like, oh, Jesus, Harry, I don't know what you did, but your subconscious is punishing you for it. And then you get on a boat and you meet your team. and it turns out you're a hotshot detective
Yeah,
who's lost his mind.
I'm still figuring this ending out. I was kind of like I couldn't decide whether I liked this ending or not.
It's very abrupt. It's very, well, you solved the case. Good job. Let's get in the car and go home.
We're gonna assess all of your decisions and all of your actions throughout the game, and then we're gonna stick you in a car, and then the game's over.
Yeah.
Like if it were me, I would have ended just getting on the boat and coming back.
Because it gives you at least the catharsis of like, hey, every decision you made is like accounted for.
Yes, it does. It is actually, you do actually have I had quite a lot of options of things I could flick through in terms of dialogue with the team.
Yeah, I had loads. I had more than I expected.
I don't know if it was just maybe just I didn't. I mean, I think at this point, I think my brain was just like,
I was going to ask you about this actually, Dev, because I was able to say, no, look, I got my badge back and I got my gun back. I'm a real detective.
Yeah.
You didn't get your...
Oh, I did a fun thing. I did a really fun thing. So basically, they said, right, hand your badge over. And I said, well, look, I've got my badge. Here it is. And they went, and your gun? And I just sort of, there was an option to go, well, here's the thing. I upgraded my gun, and then you give them the sniper's gun.
Oh, God.
And so I did that, and they went, you lost your gun, you piece of shit. Of course you did.
Harry, why is there a 45,000 real vehicle floating in the Thames?
Yes, that was fun. Yeah, no. My answer to that was I thought the criminals might be underwater. Turns out they weren't.
Oh, dear. I think I tried to be as honest as possible with them, but yeah, that sounds like a fun response. Tequila Sunrise did it was a nice option as well.
That is good. I think genuinely the next time I play this game it's going to be Chaos Gremlin Run, like because like Chaos Gremlin / not fascist. No brackets not fascist though. But yeah, like just because like as the game went on, I realized I was getting more superstar cop options and more art cop options, and I'm like, I think it would be interesting to play more into that next time round rather than kind of just doing the natural thing of just going, I'm really sorry. I'm so I know, I'm sorry. I know, I'm really sorry. Which the game calls out
many times.
Calls you out for every time.
Do either of you get the opportunity to recruit Kim?
Yes.
Oh.
Except I recruited Kuno.
You recruited Kuno? How cute.
Yeah, because Kim was dead.
Oh yeah.
Because I might have killed Kim.
Oh, it was so exciting. Like, do you want to come work for me? Work with me? We can solve cases together. I was like, oh, the friendship continues. This is so cute.
It was very cute to shake hands with Kim at the end, and then yeah, Kim said, "Oh, I'm going to go back to the 41st precinct and write the most detailed report anyone has ever seen." And so you can say, "Oh, good luck with your report," and then Kim goes, "No, good luck with your report," and you have this wonderful, lovely little moment at the end.
Oh fuck! I have to do paperwork on all of this.
Yes. To be fair to Kim, I talked a lot about the 2mm hole in reality, and I kind of saying that maybe that had something to do with the fact that like I fucking destroyed myself, and Kim was like, no, it is actually real. Look, I've written it in my report. I was like, thank you, Kim.
So I have a thing here, which I think would either be a good way to end the podcast or begin the podcast, which is a thing called. It's by Strawberry Crocodile on Tumblr, and it's shit I've learned about Disco Elysium without having ever played Disco Elysium. And I was going to read through these and just to get your reactions. But I don't know whether that would be a good way to end the podcast or a good way to begin the podcast.
I think it's a good way to end the podcast because I had a line from The Deserter which was, "Your brain is rotting from the radio waves," which I thought was and it might be a fun end.
Yes, that's our profession.
But no, I think that's a very, very good way to end. So I think let's go through these and then we can do our final thoughts.
Cool. So shit I've learned about Disco Elysium without having played Disco Elysium. You play the most disgusting, pathetic being ever to exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your partner is a more run-of-the-mill pathetic loser man, and he is so excited to have someone around him who sucks more than him.
So disagree.
Yeah, I disagree with that, but that's very funny.
Kim is the king. I don't know. Yes,
shining light.
So you take that back about my
By
son.
the way, fun fact about Kim Kitsuragi. You know the picture they drew of him?
Yeah.
The picture in like his portrait picture?
Yeah.
There is, if you go and look for like sketches, like what do you call them? Concept art.
Yeah.
There is loads of concept art for Harry Dubois. There is loads of concept art
one
for
picture of Kim.
Orange. There is one picture of Kim.
They just nailed it.
They just banged it out and they got it right
Nice.
the first time. It's like, yeah, that's Kim.
Done.
Next
Sorted.
one. There is a small child named Cuomo who does barbiturates and knows exactly the slur to use to kill you instantly.
So a fun thing. So this game, I think the final cut got banned in Australia because
For what?
Because of its
well, basically because like their
liberal use of the F slur.
well, no, it's more that their laws prohibit games from having like drugs and like excessive drug use or something like that. And I remember reading in the article was like, so yeah, a game where you can smoke amphetamines with a child is probably not going to pass that.
You know, if you have that policy in place, this game, yeah, fair.
That's fair, yeah.
I mean, it's not.
I'm mad, but
yeah.
also fair enough.
Although I will say, like you compare the morality of this game, or what you might believe the moral impact of this game on the thinking of a young person playing it relative to, say, Grand Theft Auto. I'm not sure this game encourages.
Interesting.
If anything, this game is more politically, radicalizing than criminalizing.
So there's a small child named Cuomo who does barbiturates and knows the exact slur to use to kill you instantly. Next point. It will literally kill you because all damage in this game is potentially lethal, and most of it is either from getting your feelings hurt or staring at a light bulb for too long.
Yep. Or kicking a postbox, yeah.
Instead of boring shit like strength or wisdom, your stats are like Cartesian dualism and ability to top. They will also talk to you.
Yeah.
Oh man! Oh, that's something that does remind me of things that I've heard about, like the idea of most people finding that if you do a run playthrough where you put in some sort of cheats in some way and make max stats so you can see all positive checks, comments, but also all the passives happening of everyone commenting all the time. Apparently, it's not as fun a playthrough, but you do see some interesting conversations that it's hard to, because it's hard to max out on, I don't know, Half-Life or something. While playing the game, it hardly ever comes up. So if you actually do try to push all those just to see all the text of passives, that would be interesting. It's an interesting playthrough apparently, but not as fun.
There are a couple of like the scene at the end, the tribunal. I have seen someone do a max stat playthrough of that when no one dies.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. I would be interested in seeing like 100 stat man challenge for Disco Elysium. Seeing like
one of the things you find out, because I found this out the last playthrough I did, but Corty, the big strike guy.
Yeah.
Laylee was his brother. If you dig deep enough during your sort of chat
oh wow,
before the fight, you put together that, oh shit, he was your brother. Like, he was your actual flesh and blood brother.
Oh, wow.
And you're like, oh fuck. And then you shoot him dead. So it's next point. It's about a police investigation. Next point, it's about communism. Next point, it's about gay sex. Next point, with a corpse? Question mark?
No, that did not happen in my playthrough.
Next point, it takes place 30 years after Pathologic.
I have not played Pathologic. I look forward to one day.
Next point.
Yeah.
It takes place in a rich and absolutely bizarre world that the creators painstakingly scripted over a decade. Most of it has no relevance to the plot, and the rights now belong to a shitty game studio.
Yep, that's very true. No lies there.
Next point, I should pirate it.
No.
Final
no,
point,
no.
I should really play it.
There's no person who plays games who I don't think would get something out of this game. I say that I came in as the non-game player, but actually, I would say I think it is interesting that this game has got me really into the idea of playing more games, and it frustrates me. Like if I'd gotten really into FIFA, there'd be a lot of other sports games out there, but there's no natural successor to Disco Elysium, I don't think. So
go play Disco Elysium if you haven't already.
Guys, if people have listened to every episode of this podcast and then thought, Isaac, go and play that. Like, you really should have.
Your
You should
playthrough will
have
be different.
like started playing when you first started listening. Oh well.
But it's like a tree. It's like planting a tree. The best time to play Disco Elysium is before this podcast started. The second best time
That's
is
fair.
right
I would
now.
agree. I would
yeah.
agree.
Final thoughts, Dev?
I think this is going to be a game I'm going to be thinking about for a very long time.
Rattled your brain.
It has rattled. Yeah, that's the best way to describe it. Is like it's changed how I see the world. It's changed how I approach the world. It's made me ask some hard questions about myself, which is very rare for a game to do that. It's sort of a rigorous self-critique simulator, and it sort of gives you the tool. I think it almost. I think you could say it almost teaches you how to think critically, which I think is interesting. And I'm kind of looking forward to playing it again already to see what happens next time.
James, final thoughts?
I think this game is great for making friends with people. Surprisingly, I think when the three of us decided to play this game together, I think it wasn't like we were looking for a project to work on together. It just came up as a, hey, this looks like a fun thing to do together. And I cannot now imagine going for a couple of months without chatting with one of you or both of you at the same time. And I think that it's done. I'm just really excited about the fact that it's brought the three of us together in some interesting new dynamic. And I'm really excited about where that dynamic goes.
Well, it is motocross hours over here, so I don't know. Well, I don't know if you guys can hear the motocross, but you'll be able to hear it on the recording.
Okay.
There it is.
Oh, there it is.
But
Yeah,
yes, there it is. So it's been lovely to hang out with you, detectives.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure.
To watch this space, because there will be more coming.
We
We have
plans.
ideas.
We do have plans.
We have things in the oven.
And it's not just our heads.
Not just our.
Oh, don't plat yourself. We'll see you next time. Why do we let me end these things?
I don't know.
Someone else end this.
You started this. Like,
I did a little bit.
a little tiny
FAB,
bit.
guys.
Oh, FAB.
FAB.
Three detectives in a trench coat. Three detectives in a trench coat.
Thank you for listening to Three Detectives in a Trench Coat. The three detectives are James Curtis, Oliver Morris, and Amber Devereaux. The podcast is edited by Oliver Morris and Amber Devereaux with original music by Oliver Morris. To find out more about the detectives and some of their previous casework, check the show notes.
Thank you for listening. Love you. Bye.